Welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is Helpful Home Buying Hints with Lori Cianella of Blue Crab Realty. I am a real estate agent in Burtonsville, Maryland. And as part of my YouTube channel, I like to highlight local businesses. And today we have Lisa Santini from Burtonsville Fuel. Burtonsville Fuel's been in Burtonsville for forever, but I'm not going to get into the details. I'm actually going to ask Lisa. Lisa, please tell us the background of the business.
So Burtonsville Fuel was started in 1955 by my husband's grandfather, and it is now a fourth generation company. We offer home delivery for home heating fuel and service. We also deliver on-road and off-road diesel. We also work on ACs and heat pumps and that sort of thing. So.
Wonderful, wonderful. So one of your kids is working with you as well?
Yes. So my son Jess just joined us 2 years ago. So he makes our fourth generation. So we've been here for a long time.
That's so exciting. That's so exciting. Little bit of background, Lisa's son Jess and my oldest went to school together, preschool together, and Cloverly and all that good stuff. So yeah, Lisa and I've known each other for a few years. So if there are some homes in the area, obviously, that use fuel, what like types of homes normally have oil as fuel for their heating and so forth?
You typically see the older homes, mid-century homes that still have home heating. Certain communities were built with oil furnaces. And I think there's a misconception especially amongst new home buyers or real estate agents that have never used heating oil before. So I like to get out there and try and educate all the real estate agents that I can, not to be scared of it. It is absolutely safe. It is clean, unlike most people think it's not going to be a clean energy. Definitely not the case. The only difference is between that fuel oil and electric or gas is that you have to have a delivery. That's the only difference. So, you know, being an old established company, we have several communities. We go all the way out towards upper north side of Montgomery County for, say, homes that are on acreage and there is no natural gas. So there's still quite a few oil customers in this area, definitely.
Alrighty. So how does someone know, again, this is like towards the newer home buyer who's like, oh gosh, this house has oil heat, that scares me. How do they know that they should schedule a delivery, or is it something you do as a routine, or is it how is that all worked out?
Okay, so there's a couple different things. It depends on where the tank is. Some tanks are located in the home itself, which actually is not a bad thing because then it's environmentally controlled. You don't have the outside, elements that take its toll on the tank. Other homes have above ground tanks outside, and some were originally made built with underground tanks. At this point in time, underground tanks can be an issue because there's no way to check them unless you have a professional company come out and actually do, put a camera down in, that kind of thing. So if a home is, say, over 40 or 50 years and it has an underground tank, that's something that we consider and work with the homeowner to see if it's something that they would like to do, abandon or take out the old tank and set up a new tank. Other than that, as far as deliveries are concerned, there is a gauge on top of the tanks as long as they're inside the house or above ground. So it reads just like a car, quarter tank, half tank, 3/4 of a tank, etc. And depending on what size, typically the sizes are 275, 330, 550, or 1,000-gallon tanks. I would say the majority of them are 275s. So when it gets down to about 1/4 of a tank, you have about 65 or 70 gallons left. And the average home takes anywhere from 2 to about 8 or so gallons a day when in full season. Some only take a gallon, if that, a day. It just depends on the size of the house, et cetera. So we have a computer program that projects the next date of delivery if you're on the automatic delivery. So that way the homeowner doesn't have to really worry about checking the tank. And our projections are based on things like outside temperature, winds, humidity, et cetera. Size of the tank, house size, whether you're heating your hot water with it or not, because some furnaces or boilers do heat your domestic hot water. So based on those elements, it projects the next date of delivery. And it takes that fear off of the homeowner. So it's our responsibility to keep the tank full. We also offer a will call delivery, which means that the customer calls in when they want fuel, and they can check the gauge. I have a lot of customers that do that. But if you are nervous about it, then we offer the automatic, which takes that pain away. So.
Oh, I'm sure you have people that have been in their homes forever. That's how they've done it forever. They're going to call you when they need you. And then the newer folks or the crazy, busy young families
Yes.
or have you are just like, oh no, please.
Right.
Schedule that. And actually, and you answered another question for me. I was going to ask, is there, and this is something I don't know. I know there's oil for heat. I was going to ask if there was anything else that might. So you did say possibly the hot water heater it might service.
Correct. So there's
any cooking or dryers or anything else that natural gas might?
Okay. No. So with this, if you have what's called a boiler that heats your domestic water, there are also oil-fired hot water heaters in lieu of electric. So if that's the case, then you will use a little bit of fuel throughout the summer. It's not much. But the difference between an electric heat pump with electric backup or even gas is oil heat is one of the warmest, coziest heats available. It also has more BTUs, meaning there's more burn in a gallon of fuel than in any other energy. So you get a little more bang for your buck in that regard. I think, again, like I mentioned, I think people have a misconception that oil is messy and it's, it'll leave the house dirty. That's not the case. They're very energy efficient. And as long as you're getting, we definitely recommend that you get a cleaning once a year with any type of unit so that it's burning at its most efficient. So we usually do those cleanings between May and October. And then from October on, we'll still book them, but emergency calls come first. So, but it's good to have an inspection of any unit that you have annually. So.
Definitely. Other than it being the warmest heat, I think it's also not as drying as electric heat. I know you and I talked about this yesterday, but my newer townhouse has a heat pump, and I haven't had a heat pump in 30 years, and I'm reminded how much I don't like it, and how much extra water I'm drinking in the winter, and doing things like putting actual coconut oil on my face because it's so dry at night.
So dry, yeah. We also will do whole house humidifiers so that when you're walking through the house, you don't want to shock everyone. So that's something also that we will suggest to customers. So, but you're right. The heat pumps were made for homes in the South. And I think they are sold in this area now with a misconception that that's all they need. And we are forever telling people, if you have a heat pump, they're made to work until the outside temperature is between 34 and 36 degrees. Once it drops below that, it's really tough to keep that house feeling warm. So you need a backup system, whether it be electric or gas or fuel. You need a backup system because it still gets cold in this area.
It does. And then you add another thing that attracted me to my townhouse is it has these big, beautiful windows that let in all the great light. And even though they're only, I think, 16 years old, They also let
They're
in the cold when it gets cold enough.
Yes. And we have a lot of older homes that
Okay.
are also that have not had window replacements and they aren't insulated very well. So
Hmm.
we do tell people, roll up a towel and put it on a windowsill just to keep that draft from coming in, or under doors, that sort of thing. Get some type of, strip to keep that air from coming in. I think also some of the older homes that have fireplaces are very deceiving because if that damper is left open at all, what happens is a draft will pull that warm air up the chimney. And then I have customers that will use a fireplace and say, but the back of the house is so cold. That's because you've just sucked all that heat out your chimney. It's beautiful, but it's not always productive. So we do have a lot of different variants as far as the heating is concerned. And sometimes it can wreak havoc even with the oil furnace, like I said, with the fireplace situation, that kind of thing. So, but as far as oil and being scared of it or worrying about tackling it as an agent, don't be scared. We walk everyone through the whole process and are very open to having anyone call for questions. Our website also has a Q&A section that answers a lot of the general questions. Some of the bigger companies, you may not get the answers that you want, because you may be calling Minnesota or Jersey or something. So they don't know the area itself. But, we try to educate as many people as we possibly can. So, and the one good thing about oil is it won't blow up.
Right. Oh, here's a question. Someone's looking at a home and it has an oil burning furnace. I actually have two questions about that. One, would you all be open to doing like an inspection before they buy the home? Because I have found a lot of inspectors don't know diddly. Right. The second question is, if it is an in-ground tank, can you all test for leaching? Is leaching a possibility?
Yes, leaching is a possibility. We don't do the testing with underground tanks, but we work with a company that is phenomenal. So, we can definitely get you in the right place with that. As far as inspections, we can, if we're not super busy, absolutely, we can make arrangements for you. So that's not a problem.
Well, unfortunately, the one where I had the question, I called you and they were already your clients, so you already knew the health of the unit, and that worked out great.
Yeah. We have
that's
a lot
big advantage for local stuff.
Absolutely. So, and we don't go out of Montgomery, Anne Arundel, Carroll, Howard, and some of PG County. So we're super local. So we get to know our customers very, very well, often on a first name basis, which is really nice. So
yeah, I think that's a wonderful service touch that you don't always get these days.
Correct.
But as long as I've been in the area, which is like forever now, I've always heard good things about, your family and your company. So
thank you.
Is there anything that I haven't asked about that you think would be helpful to either agents or potential home buyers or potential homeowners about oil fuel?
I think the main thing is if you're moving into a new home, to have someone that's educated come in.
Lisa, I've lost your face. There we go.
Sorry. I think the biggest thing is having someone come in that is knowledgeable about oil specifically. Unfortunately, with some of the home inspectors out there, no disrespect, but they don't know anything about it. So it's very important to have someone that has knowledge come in and check the unit and check the tank if they're able to make sure that there's no stress or anything on the tank visibly. Make sure the piping is correct, etc. Make sure for the furnace that the venting is done properly. So I would say, if they're concerned, if it's an old unit, definitely have someone come in and take a look at it.
Alrighty. Oh, please share your contact information.
Oh, okay. So our website is burtonsvillefuel.com. Our phone number is 301-384-7575. We run service 24/7. We'll always have a tech on call. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to email us at BFCINC, so Burtonsville Fuel Company Inc., at burtonsvillefuel.com. And I
Awesome,
also
wonderful.
have, if you ever need, I have brochures that have
Oh,
questions, some information for new homeowners or real estate agents, and I can get more that I can send out. I can send out our service brochure that shows what we cover or what we provide. And on our website, there is an information page that kind of tells you who we are, a little of our background. Of course, I have to update it because it's said third generation, it's fourth now. But
yes.
and then we have the Q&A page, which is super informational. So, and I have other contacts also, like we work with Nora, which is the basically they're all environmental, dealing with weather, everything weather and environmental. They have some good resources too that go a little more into depth with information. So.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me today.
You are welcome.
Yes, it's good to see you. So I am, as I said before, I am a full-time real estate agent here in Burtonsville, Lori Cianella with Blue Crab Realty. Please like this video, comment if you have anything to say about it, or questions or whatever have you. Definitely subscribe to the page. I appreciate it. It all just boosts and helps us get the information out there. So thanks again, Lisa.
You're welcome, Lori.